few years, Marvel tries again and again and again to make Fantastic Four fantastic. 2005 was fun but forgettable. 2015 was bold but broken. And now, 2025 promises to finally get it right. But what if the real story here isn't about superheroes, but about reboot culture itself? Movie lovers, welcome to Global Movie Map. I'm Sumisola Olusi, and here we explore the stories behind the stories, from global hits to underrated gems. Whether it's a review, a recommendation, or a deep dive, if it's cinema, it's on the map. Let's get started. Today on Global Movie Map, we're not just reviewing the new Fantastic Four steps. We're mapping out what every version tried to do structurally, tonally, and emotionally, and what that tells us about how Hollywood keeps trying to reinvent itself. So buckle up, because this is more than a superhero story. It's a case study in how every reboot solves one problem but creates another. Let's rewind to 2005, pre-MCU. The first Fantastic Four felt like an experiment. Its structure was classic Origin 101. Scientists, accidents, powers, save the day. The problem is spent too long setting up the accident, then rushed straight into the final battle with almost no emotional arc. The pacing was weird, the tone was uneven, and while it had its moments of charm, it felt like the movie never truly believed in its own story. This was the early 2000s superhero formula. Light comedy, predictable structure, and a hint of melodrama. Chris Evans' Johnny Storm had more spark than the entire script, so yeah, it worked for its time. But it didn't define anything. It was safe, too safe. Fast forward to 2015. Director Josh Trank, fresh off Chronicle, wanted to do something radical. He said, "What if Fantastic Four was a horror story? Darker tone, psychological focus, and real emotional trauma." And honestly, that could have worked. But here's what went wrong. The studio didn't trust his vision. Half the film was reshot, the tone changed mid-production, and we ended up with two movies fighting inside one body. The first half promised something unique, a grounded sci-fi tragedy. The second half snapped back into a bland studio superhero flick. The result? No payoff, no soul, and no identity. 2015's Fantastic Four is what happens when a studio tries to make a bold film safer and ends up making it worse. Now, 2025, Fantastic Four first steps, Marvel finally has full control. This version takes a totally different path. No dark grit, no cartoon camp. Instead, it's retro-futurism meets family drama. The world looks like 1960s sci-fi, jetpacks, chrome labs, vintage suits, but the themes are timeless. Legacy, love, and what it means to build a family in chaos. The good news? The chemistry finally works. You can feel the bond between Reed, Sue, Johnny, and Ben. The not so good news? It's almost too polished. The plot plays it safe, focusing more on setting up the next phase of the MCU than on telling a daring standalone story. So yeah, it looks beautiful, it feels emotional, but you can sense the franchise machine humming underneath. Each film represents a different kind of failure and lesson. 2005 played it safe and shallow. 2015 tried to go deep and different, but collapsed under interference. 2025 found balance and beauty, but avoided real risk. In other words, 2005 failed creatively, 2015 failed politically, and 2025 might succeed commercially. That's the reboot pattern. Studios oscillate between too familiar and too weird, never quite landing in the sweet spot where boldness and coherence meet. But this isn't just about Fantastic Four. It's about how Hollywood treats intellectual property. Reboots have three goals: fix the past, refresh the brand, sell the future. And that's the trap. Because when your main goal is set up the next 10 years, you forget to make a film that feels alive right now. The irony, the best Fantastic Four story is supposed to be about family, but every reboot has felt more like a business meeting than a reunion. If you ask me, the 2025 version finally got the tone right, but it still plays it a little too safe. The next challenge for Marvel isn't to reboot again, it's to trust filmmakers enough to take real risks and still tell a human story. Because the Fantastic Four aren't just Marvel's first family, they are the mirror of what happens when you chase perfection instead of connection. So, which version of Fantastic Four do you think came closest to the greatness? The cheesy charm of 2005, the dark vision of 2015, or the emotional retro feel of 2025? Let me know in the comments. I actually read all of them. And that's today's Stop on the Map. What did you think? Let's talk about it in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because every story deserves to be seen and every movie has its place on the global movie map. See you on the next one.